I am speaking, it's Dave here from Amplify, and I'm speaking to the magnificent JAZZU, who's known by the name as Juiced. Is it Juiced or Juiced?
Well, originally it's Juste.
Juste, which is Juste.
Yes, you don't want to hear my surname. It's Arlauskaite.
That sounds like that's fantastic. It sounds like a mystery. It sounds like we should be watching Netflix or something like
This is why I chose my stage name as JAZZU. So let's stick to
that.
that.
Well, but I think that you'll find when if you look into her, for those who know her, you know her. For those who don't know her, if you look into her after you've listened to the interview or at some stage through the interview, you'll see that, and the same with her bright red lipstick. You'll see that she creates, and she's good at it. So you'll enjoy it when you go and have a look. She put some time and effort into it. All right, let's start. Let's start asking some questions and getting down to it. Have you always wanted to be an artist? When did you get the songwriting bug?
Um, well, when I was a kid, I was like the rest of the kids. We all wanted to be astronauts and princesses and princes and singers or actresses. So yeah, but I come from a musical family. I mean, everybody in my family was going to music schools, but never became a professional. So I had a background. Um, and yes, I started to talk very early, like I want to become a singer, but nobody listened. It was like, it's just like a little girl's dream. And then I remember one night, I was maybe 11 or 12, and it was the first time I heard jazz record. It was like a record with all the Ella Fitzgerald, Lena Horne, and the legends of the female singers in jazz. And I couldn't sleep till I don't know 6 or something. Then I went to my mother's room, knocked on the door, and I said, "Mom, wake up! I just want to tell you one thing." And she was like, "Yes." And I said this phrase. I think I was born to sing jazz. And she said, "Go to sleep."
Exactly. Go back to
What the
bed.
F are you talking about?
Go back to
So
bed.
but I couldn't sleep because I was so alive, and for the first time I felt that you know I'm here for a reason. And yeah, and I was going to musical school, and I was playing classical piano, but from that X day, like tomorrow, the day after, I started to actually dig into jazz very, very, very deeply, and I knew that I'm going to become a singer. So this is why a little story. This is why I'm JAZZU as well, because I love jazz, and this is my biggest background and inspiration.
So why the U? Why the JAZZU? Or is there something about what Obviously, the jazz makes sense. Why the JAZZU? Just an extension of the jazz?
Well, I had a friend. It came very naturally because I had a friend, my childhood friend, and when I started to talk to her, and I said like, okay, I'm getting gigs more and more, and I'm going to this competition, and then and she was listening to my story, and she knows me for years, and she knows how much I love music. And then one day I was about to release my first track. I was 16 years old, and someone from the radio called, and they asked like, "Oh, so should we put the name Justerloskaite?" I was like, "No, no, it's commercially actually the shit, absolutely." So, uh, and then I remembered that friend of mine called me JAZZU.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it just was so natural.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Um, I'm gonna, it's pretty easy. You said you were 16 when you brought out your first single, so I could look it up and find out when that was. But how old are you? Can I ask?
Yes, definitely. I'm proud of my age. I'm 37, just turned last week.
37. So you've been doing it for 20 years. So you've been doing it for a fair period of time. Okay.
Yes.
And you just said you've got a 2.5-year-old. Are you in a relationship, or is that supportive? Like a lot of times, you get bands and all that sort of gear, and the guys go through the mortgage period where they want to tour, but the wife says we can't afford it because we've got to pay off the house, and so it sort of affects their music career. And I can see that, now you've got a 2.5-year-old and all that. You've been pretty creative of late, and I wondered how that family sort of situation affected the music, or if it did or not.
Well, my family in general, from my
And
parents.
whether it informed it, whether it actually added to it, because now that you're a, deeper person, obviously, mother, you've sort of opened up, grown a bit. Has that affected the music?
Yeah, it actually did. And just a short note is that my family, as my parents, they were always super supportive. And I think this is the word lacks now, just for the adults to see in the kids their talents and to help them to expand and not to suppress them, you know? Like, oh, I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't become a lawyer. Now you're going to be a lawyer. No, but maybe I'm absolutely untalented into, you know, quotes and numbers and whatever knowledge. But maybe I'm super talented in dancing. So
Mm.
just support the kid. And therefore, in my current relationships, the status it's let's say complicated, but
Like most.
but I just became a statistics. You know, I can be extraordinary and a musician and da da da, but I can be very ordinary person, like as a personal life. So yeah, it was tough. And also when you mentioned that maybe motherhood helped to grow in music, only now, after 2 years and a half, I actually feel this because I couldn't write anything, absolutely anything for 2 years. And I was analyzing every little bit why. And I came up with this idea that from very young age, I was writing music from sadness, self destruction, you know, when I hangover, la 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 la, yada yada. So, and then suddenly I'm happy. I have a kid. Every day I waking up with a smile. And I just didn't know how to find the key to write from a simple joy, from everyday joy. So it took time, but I think now I'm pretty balanced.
It's
And
very
I,
interesting.
yeah, and I'm back. And actually, after this interview, my producer picks me up, and we go for 6 hours to the studio for a record session.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's great. I think that's very interesting because, like you say, probably most people write from sadness. A lot of you think of country and western, it's about all sadness. And so when you talk about that break, rather than writing for the audience, but writing from what's happening from internally, that joy, that's an interesting thing. And it obviously comes across in your late stuff. I was going to say, you're obviously developing many avenues in your JAZZU future. You're an artist, obviously a creator, a media personality, because I believe you're a judge on X Factor. Uh,
Yeah.
which is your current priority, and which do you enjoy most?
Well, first number always in any context is motherhood, and uh, and of course it's always been music because I did a lot of stuff in my life. You know, last 2 years was super crazy because I released a book. Then the movie about me was released and shown like in all the cinemas. Then I released an album. Then I was recording another one. Then another one didn't show up yet because of quarantine all times. Blah blah blah. Um, so I opened my brand. I have two restaurants. Whoa! And then suddenly I became a mother, and I was like, wow, I do a lot of stuff. You know, this is
Oh,
I need to stop it. Stop the world. You know. And yeah, and actually some health issues, and also you know uh, just life itself started to show me that I need to turn to myself, turn back to my heart,
of course.
because I'm a musician. I'm straight musician. I miss music. I want to do music, and the rest it's creativity, because I believe everything is creativity. So I come from the very creative place. You know, I can write poetry. I like dance. Da, 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 da. So, but if I choose, I always choose music. This is definitely.
Well, it's from a conscious perspective, I think you understand that the power actually comes from nothing, not something. So actually, when you come back into yourself and become meditative and detach from the external, that's when you basically build up all of the internal that can inform all of the external. And so what we do is, like you say, you get into this situation where when you're not used to it, things come in, opportunities come in, someone wants to make some money, you want to open a restaurant, you want to do X factor, everything, everyone's feeding you with this ego. And it's just natural to just want more of the pie until you realize that that's not really what you need fed, because it doesn't feed inside, it's feeding one part of you.
That was one key word I heard you said, and it was ego.
Yes.
So I think I was feeding my ego for many years. And also, I had a chance to distract from show business for 2 years when I was, just a mother, because it was my choice. And I started to ask questions. All of this buzz and stage and me going there and showing, my music to the people, is it really sharing from the depths of my heart? Or maybe it comes from an ego. I did 2 years of deep analysis
Yeah.
on this, and I just realized that I needed a break just to understand where I'm heading, where I'm going to now, where I'm heading to. What's my point, what I want to say. And I do believe that when my kid was born, I was born as well,
Perfect.
again.
Perfect. Perfect.
So now I find a different perspectives and point of in making music, and it's going to be very interesting because I'm starting to write now, and it's very dark, but it doesn't come from
Good.
pain or sadness anymore.
Good.
I just
Good. Good.
know how to recall my memories, and because I bring in my soul system, I have everything already. I
But
just need to pop it out when it's necessary for me to write. So no ego this time, because I really miss just writing music.
it
This
sounds
is
it sounds authentic. How would you describe your sound?
oh, oh wait, wait. Okay, so I'm coming from the very chaotic place in music. It's like a musical soup of genres, but this soup is very
Thick.
umami soup, like special soup. Because okay, listen. So I come from classical. Then I was studying. I finished music school for piano, classical. Then I was studying jazz. Then as the first album I released, it was experimental electronic, and then it rolled, rolled, rolled. I was changing and transforming, and all the genres in and out. Oof. And then now I think I, I'm writing adult contemporary with a little bit of taste, sometime, some jazz or some, I don't
Adult
know,
contemporary. It sounds it sounds so non-JAZZU. Adult contemporary. It,
adult contemporary. Yes, because you can call it pop, but it's pop. Pop itself. It contains a lot of good things, but bad things as well. And I do believe I'm writing ageless music, and this is the blessing, because my audience, it's from 3-year-old kid to 93-year-old person. Um, so I think it's fun but serious music at the same time, and it's definitely not straight pop.
no. Okay. Who have your inspirations been? Like when you think back, you spoke about Lena Horne and the different people when you were growing up, but who have the inspirations been? Because obviously you've done a fair whack and you've had to have done a number of different things, like you've moved through the different business and TV and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So who have been your inspirations to look to as you started to try and, create whoever it was you were trying to be?
Well, thanks to all the gods and myself, I wasn't trying to be anyone, and pretty
I
early.
don't, I didn't mean it that way, but I mean, you've got to, when you're an actor, for example, you've got to go on. When you're on TV, they're asking you to do something. You just can't go on there and do your own thing. You've got producers and all that say, this is how we're going to act, and this is be responsive, especially with the TV shows, because you've got to get a result, and they're trying to get a feeling result, so you've got to all act a particular way, etc. So what are you doing in those environments when you can't really just be you, but you've got to sort of turn up and fill a script?
I don't go to those environments, first of
Really?
all.
There you go.
But
Good.
my country, I'm known as a very tough guy. So nobody in music business and in life didn't want to mess with me. And if ever somebody would explain me what to say and how to act and whom to be, I would just say fuck off. And everybody knows that, so they're not even going there with me. And this is and this is like clear enough for everybody for
So,
this.
so, so, so when I say who inspired you, it's the mirror.
Okay, that's so much ego, but
No,
also
no, 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 it's not. It's only, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, at some stage, from a conscious perspective, you've got to move. You basically, you have to think. Thinking is a part of all of us. But if you lead thinking, it's completely different to thinking leading you. And so ego is a place where sort of thinking leads you. But when you lead thinking, you can have self-esteem. So it can be called ego, but it doesn't have to be called an uncomfortable or unhealthy ego. So I'm
yeah.
saying when you look at yourself and you're inspired by yourself, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's sort of saying I'm doing my thing and I'm going my direction.
No, well, it took some time, honestly,
Of course,
to get to this point. I am actually inspired by myself and by my strength and blah, blah, blah. But of course, I had some inspirations and artists I was growing with, and I was um, learning from them and repeating, whatever their sounds, their phonetics, cat, a lot of stuff. But yeah, so my biggest inspiration in life was as an artist. It was so many. It was so many. I think I'm just gonna mention my diva of the divas. It's Roisin Murphy, and by the time she was singing in a band called Moloko, so I do believe that is the most amazing band still for me. My friends in my house, they're like, "Yuste, can you please change something in your list, music list?" I was like, "Nah, but I still find miracles in this music, and it's so me. So it inspired me a lot." But usually in my house, it's a silence, complete silence. It's enough of the, of my Yuki, of my kid. La, 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 la.
the Wiggles, the Wiggles.
Seven. But if I do listen to the music in my house, I usually listen to old jazz records and to Mozart, Chopin, Rachmaninoff. Usually it's classic. Um, this is how I clear my head. Yeah, and as in life, my biggest inspiration, I think, is my mother. She's a superwoman. She's like a super strong, loving, and great values I inherited by from her. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about your music for a little bit. Your latest single's Welcome, is that correct? Is that still your latest single?
Yes.
And it was released back in March. What's it about?
Well, it's about unconditional love and this connection of the souls. That when you meet someone, you you feel like you know this person for not only this life but like previous lives as well. So it's a lot of metaphor saying that love is like a drug. This feeling, I'm just high looking at you. This is the feeling I get, and I don't want this to be over. And welcome to my world, which is dimensions, and we can experience this, you know endless endless feelings together. So it's about sharing, and it's actually super sexy as well. So it's like layers and layers and layers of relationships. And a very interesting fact, that this song was about to be released 5 years ago, and we prepared everything, the album for about to follow, da, da, da. And then Corona hit straight into my face, and the rest of the world, of course.
Oh,
And
is that why the video is 5 years in the making?
yes, it is. So we started 5 years, and we finished maybe 3 years ago. By the time I was already pregnant, so it's like a wheel of life. It's like a cycle and a beautiful process and journey. Um, yeah. So from falling in love, writing songs, till actual human being to be created. It's beautiful.
Is there an EP or an album on the drawing board?
Yes, and I think it's gonna be very soon. I think it's gonna be June.
An album or an EP?
An album. I hope album with 10 songs, because this album was on hold for too long.
Yeah. So this is the 6 hours you're going to when we finish.
No, this is a new one. This one is already finished. It's been finished for years, and I do believe in the first emotion. And when I write something, I just need to let it go. And on this album, I didn't let this go for so many years. And I do believe that my music is worth to be heard in a wide world. So one day I just I was sat down and I started to have a conversation with my inner soul. And I was like, okay, this is it. Just drop it.
Boom,
That's it.
boom,
Done.
boom.
So this is what I'm gonna do, because I was postponing this for so many years. And this music is actually, this is the best I ever wrote. Why do I keep it? Why?
Do we know about it, or is it still a secret, and we're waiting? We're all waiting to hear about when it's coming out and what it's about.
Well, I just know I actually just came from Spain. I need to go to our office to speak with my managers about exact day of release. But as we spoke last time, it was in June. But I'm gonna update the info very, very soon, and more details about to follow, because I
Good.
can't wait to share the whole concept with the people, because the concept is huge. It's about multi-personality, about my transformation as a woman, and about just growth every day. So I think people's gonna really, really relate to
We,
that.
we we look forward to hearing about it so that we can share it with our Australian people over here. Okay, if you could perform with any music artist, alive or dead, who would you choose and why?
Oof. Okay, from that dimension, I would go for Michael Jackson,
Oh,
Prince, and Leonard Cohen, definitely,
oh,
because
oh,
oof, because
oh,
the,
legends.
yeah, absolute legends, and they have a special place in my music world and my heart, and I actually very do relate to all of three of them. And and nowadays artists, I would go with Weekend, Bruno Mars, and Lewis Capaldi. I think this is the three guys come to my mind, because I do feel their music, and I think that it's very, very sensual and sexy as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, with all that experience that you've got over the years, what's some advice? You've obviously traveled, especially from a musical point of view, and from all the different exposures you've had to fame or to, people trying to use you for different reasons because the money people try and come in and take a piece of everything that they can get a piece of. So you've got to be careful to go in the directions you need to go in. And plus, because you've traveled through streaming from selling CDs and social media from no social media and all that sort of stuff. What sort of advice would you give to someone who's sort of breaking through now, trying to get out there?
Well, I usually when someone asks me this question, um, I remember my younger self, and what would I tell to my younger self? And of course, to all of the young people, coming to X Factor, and all the young musicians who wants to grow and become someone bigger. Um, the thing I didn't know when I was young, that I really need to stick and praise my authentic being, and do not compare myself to anyone. Just live your authentic life, and things gonna come to you. And when they say, like, don't listen to others. Yes, because people can be very rude, and not necessarily they're telling the truth. Be rational, because criticism is a good thing, but this is the way you can tell things to the people. So if someone is rude to you and it brings your energy down, and when you enter the room, they are rolling their eyes, they're not smiling, they are not happy to see you, fuck them, leave immediately now, period.
Absolutely.
And within the years, I do realize that you need to love yourself unconditionally. And as cliche as it sounds, you need to feel your heart center more, because even like, especially nowadays, we operate with our mind so much. But the truth is, and life showed me so many times, that this cycle passes, and heart, you know heart follows, and you're coming back to the center, because the heart knows the best, the first emotion, first feeling, the first instinct. So just follow your heart, and try try to become the better version of yourself every day. Not better than someone, better than you. This is it.
I think the unique thing, I was just talking to had an interview earlier today with Max McNone, who's a young country and western guy from the States. Big, he's a young guy, really big now, and he moved from Oregon to Nashville, and he
Yeah.
said that he already had made something for himself when he moved there, because when he got to Nashville, he noticed that everyone there were good. They were all good singers, etc. And if he went there originally to start, he probably would have given up and gone back. So because he'd already started and been successful and then went there, he had his connections. And what I said to him was something similar to what you just said then, but they weren't you. So basically, if you're doing you wherever you are, you can
Yeah.
you can break through. You've just got to stay doing you and not get turned off by the fact that other people, get pushed away by other people.
Well, yes, and patience, as you said, step
But
by.
but, but when you talk about the conscious side though, I'm 67, so I'm an old dog, but you got where you got over 20 years. You didn't get there just from making a decision at some stage to go into your heart and detach and tell people to fuck off and all this sort of stuff. It's like, so to some degree, people have to go through, they're usually brought up in a conditioned environment where they're taught to go for more, get an A, get a better job, get more. And what you've got to learn is you've got to learn to detach. You've got to learn to give all that away, like a bit Buddhist, and just come back to yourself and then start to fill up with your understanding of your core values. So that takes some time to work out and believe. And usually you've got to be supported or influenced by some sort of event or situation. In your case, it could have been a whole range of things, but I'm sure you'd say that having your baby has given it a whole another extension again.
Yes, and also the empty ambitions, maybe, they kind of dissolved
Yes,
more.
yes.
So I think I had those, but I do believe in one thing as well. If you ask the artist, like, do you want more? Do you want to, have a tour not only in Europe, but in all the world or whatever? Just, do you want more people to hear your music? And if someone will say like, I know, I don't care, or trying to act modest, I don't believe these people.
No, no.
All true artists, because we are a portal from, we are the tool. So we know that we are not writing for four walls. If you don't care to sing to more and more people, go to your fucking room and play the song for your lamp.
But,
You know?
join a choir at the church.
Yeah, which is very beautiful.
It
You
is.
know,
It
you
is.
join it because it's for the people. So music is for the people. So I don't believe those who are being like,
But but having said that though, there's a difference between wanting more with the
yes,
ego and wanting more sort of understanding the ego, because
yes, absolutely.
that's the point. The point is more is fantastic, money's fantastic, but it's not. It's completely unnecessary. And if you understand how unnecessary it is, you can have all of it. But if you don't, and you're measured by it, you measure yourself by it, then it's the worst thing that can happen in your life, because it takes you away from you. And really, you're the focus in your life, nothing else that's there.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we don't know where is it gonna take you. But the matter is, where is it come does it come from? If it's coming from a pure place, from true
That's
love,
that's
from
that's exactly it. That's exactly
artistic,
right.
then it's okay.
Exactly right. All right, we're going to finish. I've got about 10 odd questions that are pretty short, but they're hello. We'll continue recording. So I've got 10 questions. These are like some of the stupid questions. Sometimes people hate them because they put them on the spot a little bit. There's some favorites and there's some questions I've got. If you can just answer, don't have to be too long, but they're a bit informative. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Whoop. Okay. When I was 16,
Fit for public consumption. Maybe it's not fit for.
well, it's pretty legal. Well, it depends. I dropped the school when I was at the grade 10th, maybe, yes. And I joined the music gymnasium. And when I dropped the school, I didn't tell my parents. So I did it. I took the papers. Of course, you need to have a parent's consent, you know. But I just came back home and I was like, okay, I'll quit the school. I'm gonna go and be a musician from now on. And I remember my mother was in the room with a masseuse. She was having a massage, and you know, she looked at me and she said, "Finally, thank you, God." And boom, you know?
What did Dad say?
Yes. So this is how supportive my parents are.
That's fantastic. What's the one topic you can talk about for hours?
Um, Plant medicine, shamanism.
Oh, that's
Yes.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Has that come from a long way back, or is that something that's more recent?
No, I do this already for 10 years, and this is absolutely my spiritual path.
Beautiful, beautiful. What's
And so books, poetry, travels, and depths of creativity and relationships between the people.
what's the thing you like most about yourself?
That's all the chaos I'm living in. I can put it inside, generate it somehow, and silent
Okay.
my and write music and write songs. And also, I just care about people in general. So I'm a my one of the nicknames people gave me it's Xena, the fighter. So or Jeanne d'Arc as well. So it says a lot about my personality because
What was that last one? What was the last one?
Jeanne d'Arc.
As in Joan of Arc.
Jeanne d'Arc.
What's Jeanne d'Arc? What is Jeanne d'Arc?
Google it. She was a girl who burned herself for
Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc.
maybe I don't know. I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
Joan of Arc, and she was 19, and she led armies. I
Yes.
only spoke about it with my daughter today in terms of a conversation we we're having about consciousness and about the fact that you've got to be yourself. And I'd much prefer to die at 19 at the stake, having lived my life, than live. There's a saying that goes. Far better to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits that neither suffer much nor enjoy much, because they live in the grey twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. And Theodore Roosevelt wrote that in 1899. And it's basically a statement about saying live, fail, succeed, do one or the other, but live. It doesn't matter whether you fail or succeed, that's irrelevant. Live. And that's basically part of this mind thing. If you can get out of your thoughts, which are measured about good or bad or whatever, well, then you just experience what's here and you live what's here. And if it's big and gets bigger, you can handle it, because basically you can handle anything. And it sounds
Yes.
like you're that type of person. All right.
That's very much needed. Thank you so much.
Well, we're going to finish with favourites and that's it. But I've just got to say, I understand why you're successful, because basically, everyone has the potential to be anything. And basically, you're only limited by yourself. You're not limited by the external forces. So all you do is you keep turning up and you keep shaping it. And all you've got to protect yourself from doing is getting that ego taking you places that you just don't need to go to because they're just not necessary. And therefore, then you become, in my view, you become a light. And then other people that sort of move around in the dark use your light to navigate. That's very positive. And I can see you as being somebody that would be, leading people to, good places that they find for themselves by virtue of the fact that they use you an example to do so. So I've enjoyed this conversation a lot. Let me finish on these favorite questions. Favorite album?
Well, the one about to come, my album.
No. I'm talking about the favorite one you listen to.
Well, yeah, I listen to so much of. It's not an album. I do listen to plant medicine music recently, every day. So just listen to the song Plantas Sagradas.
All right, I'll try and I know when I go to edit this, I probably won't find half the words. So you have to accept if you see any captions, if they're not spelled correctly, it wasn't my fault. Favorite artist,
Okay,
music artist.
so I need to choose one as I understand.
Well, you
So I
do whatever you want.
now then we're gonna continue for another 10 hours.
But choose one. Choose one.
So I think if I would need to choose the one, I would choose the absolutely icon, which is Whitney Houston,
Oh,
because I think she was not only the personality. She's like, I don't know. For me, she's like mixed human being and alien, because the power in her voice is extraordinary, and I think this is the most tasteful, like tasty vocals approach to the music I ever heard in my life, vocally. Yeah.
yeah, no, she was a superstar. And again, ego got her. Those fucking stupid boys that take you to places that you should never go to. The,
Yes.
the stupid males in your life. It's a terrible thing. Uh,
Also shines
what's that?
upon.
You've all lived it, I'm sure. You all live it because as soon as if you're pretty and you have a little bit of success, all the good-looking people come from everywhere, and they're all the foxes. They come looking for the poor sheep.
And
Favorite? What's that?
foxes and wolves. So
Wolves rather than foxes, wolves. The wolves come, and you must have seen it, especially on where you were the judge on. They're all just lurking. It's like they're all lurking for their opportunity and all this sort of stuff. And you can understand why. I do lots of interviews, and I've spoken to lots of people in the last year that have massive careers and have done massive things. And they tell me they're like 60, 70, 65. I do not leave here. I sit here with my dog. So they'll go and create something massive, something that'll come out that's massive and go straight home and just sit with their dog or whatever in their room or in their studio, in their palace, in their look, but they just want to be here. And I think that as you become more conscious, that meditative place becomes, the most fun place that you ever go to. Favorite movie?
as a series is Twin Peaks. As a movie, it's Interstellar. This
And
one,
what was the first one?
Twin Peaks, David Lynch.
Twin Peaks is TV, really. I've got his T-shirt in the cupboard. Uh, favorite place to visit?
Thailand, especially Kopangan Island. Now my favorite place on earth is Conil de la Frontera, which is uh, Spain, and of course Peru, because plant medicine and culture.
Favorite venue to play?
Once again,
Favorite venue to play at?
favorite venue. Why, from small theaters to big arenas. I was looking. I was looking at the venues I went to play in, and I think one of my favorites ever is still Albert's Hall in London.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. I saw them.
Oh,
They did Les Mis there, 10th anniversary, long time, 20 years ago, 10th anniversary special where they all just sat on the stage and they just got up dressed and did their parts. The best people and their voices and the whole thing was just magnificent.
this
Favorite favorite food?
ceviche and tom yum soup.
What is it?
Yes,
What's the first? What did you say the first?
ceviche.
What's ceviche?
Ceviche is like a raw fish marinated in lime and coriander and stuff, salt, and they chop it with onions and yeah. So fish, onions, coriander, lime, and they eat it with the sweet potato and some big Peruvian corn. It's amazing, amazing.
Sounds amazing. Favorite drink?
Woo. Watermelon shake and mezcal. At first, I was going very, girly watermelon shake, but yeah, I love mezcal so much. Oof.
Favorite person in history, apart from me?
um, well, oof. Okay, if I could recall someone to have a conversation, okay, from history, I think it would be Columbus because of, all these crazy stories of expeditions. I think he's a smart and fun guy. Also, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, just to give him thanks for the most clear music and, fucking genius. uh,
Like most people, they don't get it at the time. They're not renowned at the time. Usually, they're just working through stuff like we are now. But over history, they get renowned as a result of the stuff that we actually measure. Once they're gone, most of the time, they're not here.
yeah, but he's so alive in his music. Wow, this is like another level, really.
I can imagine.
And the third one, it would be Hitler. I
Well,
just want to ask this motherfucker, how does it feel
well,
to prepare the place in hell for Vladimir Putin?
not only Putin. You think Putin's very bad, but the guy in America is worse because
It's both on the level, definitely. Fuck it.
he smiles and he's got everyone's trust because he looks so, and he's got so many people around him that have changed their spots and they've probably killed 2, 3 million people a year from the USA thing in Africa, just alone, apart from anything else. And they do this thing just because they want greed and money. Anyhow, enough of all this. Enough of all this. So that's it, man. This was I'm a fan. So I really don't I am a 24/7 in the moment sort of person. So basically I do everything that I do and I've lost a lot in the last 10, 20 years because I just haven't been interested in trying to build. I've sort of just been experiencing. So we've built a decent community with Amplify and we're going to scale in different ways, but that's not of any interest to me, the outcome. It's more this sort of situation. So I move from moment to moment and place to place, and I can just feel that there's a really powerful, um, you know, if I think about if I think about consciousness, or just think about the different parts of ego or non-ego, let's say, for example. So people are in their head, so they're, saying, let's build, let's go, let's focus, let's fix, and all this. And then there are people that are saying, and they're usually the two don't mix. Usually one's going one way and one's going another way. I can feel in you that you've got a pretty good grasp at this young age, because you're still just a youngster. You've got a pretty good grasp you've got a pretty good grasp of the two. And so you sort of answer a question with a composition of both, of, sort of an understanding of the need for grounding with
Yes.
an understanding of the need to build and get your outcome and all that sort of stuff as well. So, and I don't hear that too often. Usually, I'm sitting here sort of saying, nice guy, but maybe don't really know. Most of the people that I deal with don't know who they are, and it sounds like you've got an idea about who you are, and you continually, as you need to, you continually building it as you move forward. It's not like you've ever got there. You keep on building it and moving it, and especially with the child, I'll be great. I look forward to interviewing you in 10 years if I'm still around here and seeing how you feel when she's 12 and a half.
Well, when my kid's gonna be 16, I'm gonna be 50. Wow. It's like, the linear time is like drives me absolutely crazy.
Uh,
But
I don't think age matters a bit. Once you understand that it's just about here, then all the measurement things just don't matter. Basically, life's about effortlessly lying on your back and floating down the river and letting the river take you where it takes you. So, keep doing everything you do, keep doing it effortlessly, and I look forward to support by all means. Anytime you need anything out here, just yell out, tell Hassan, and we'll support. But I look forward to hearing and seeing all your new stuff when it comes out. And
thank you.
I'm really, this is one that I don't usually do Hassan stuff because he's just someone on the outside of what we generally do. So I'm glad I did, and all power.
Thank you. And just a short summary about all that you said. I'm being so grateful to all of the message to all of the people. I do a lot of work, to keep this balance and to come from this authentic place. So just invest to yourself, because we are the only one and the biggest project of our lives.
I agree.
So,
I agree,
so
100%.
yeah, enjoy.
We'll talk more. We'll do another one. I'm planning on doing a conscious podcast. And when I do, I want to have a more in-depth sort of situation about some of these things, like you've come to places as a result of dealing with some of the stuff that you had to deal with. And understanding some of that stuff, if you can get into it a bit deeper, helps inform other people who are in that place and they're not ready to sort of go out and share, and they're just about to jump off a bridge. And they hear something and they hear it sort of similar, so they start to investigate and discover more about themselves. People commit suicide because they don't understand who they are. And as soon
And
as,
why?
what's
Yes.
that?
Well, what do they are and why are they here? And
And
why things
that
are happening to them? And
you don't have to know, but if you're in the journey of discovering, then you're continually saying, what am I going to do with this? And you're continually moving forward like you're in Africa. It doesn't have to be comfortable. You can be fighting lions every day, but you go to bed and you wake up and it's your life. And you've just got to understand that your life isn't as a result of anyone else's life. So
yes,
you've got to go internal out, not external in.
yes.
God bless. I don't know. I don't know if you're a God person or what you are, but whatever you are, let them bless you.
Bless you too. Thank you so much. It's a very
It's
the best
been
beginning of the day.
been a pleasure, and have a good 6 hours.
Yes, finally. Woo!
Take
Okay.
care. All the best. Bye now.